Another thing I realised today as well is that we shouldn't dwell too much in
Yes, actually, you're
in
right.
actually talking about bad stuff or talking about like it's necessary to be informed. Yes, I would agree with that. And on a certain amount of informed, you can be over-informed though, and you can dwell too much on the bad things that are happening, and also these people who have channels set up and go, oh my god, blah blah blah, and we've just found out this and this is terrible. And yes, it's good to be informed, yes, absolutely, and especially if it's put in a kind of a comedic sense. But
they're doing a good service because they feel, oh my god, there's a pride of lions there outside the tribe walls, guys. Maybe we should put some more thorns up to keep us safe. That's a very normal instinct of just keep the tribe alive.
But if you're talking
But
about...
if we talk about it every 2 seconds, the lion said, guys, then...
And if you talk about the actual battle that's going on between bad vibes and good vibes, peace and, irritation, basically, sorry, I haven't said basically for a while.
You didn't actually.
That's a very good point.
You've been on a bit of a basically diet.
I have.
He's basically been on a... Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop your train of thought.
That when you indulge too much in that, like let's say for example, okay, I get a message on some feed or something saying, and guess what, it's been revealed that these blah blah blahs did this blah blah blah, and I go and I go this, and I send it and then I send it and then somebody over there goes and it goes and it goes and that's not a good energy. Like it's not actually being in the light. It's not.
You're nuts.
It's not actually helpful really, because you're supposed to contain the virus in you. Like you're supposed to contain it and stop the contamination, stop the spread.
Of fear.
The virus of fear. I mean, you're not supposed to. It wants to go to jump and jump and jump and jump and expand itself and dominate and infect everyone. So when you send and freak somebody else out, and then they're freaked out, and they send to everyone else, and they get freaked out. Yes,
and
of course.
It's viral. It goes viral.
Yeah, it goes viral. Yeah, it goes fear goes viral very quickly, and it's not. Yes, of course, we have to stay informed because there are forces of
ego. That's it.
Of ego.
It's ego.
That are lost and scared.
You're just trying to have a
and
bit
asleep
of control.
And trying to make themselves more secure
and safe,
but being puppeted by the ego and by fear. So they're not actually conscious.
Which never will make them safe or
Of course not.
gift them a feeling of safe or secure, because they will never be enough.
Or satisfaction. They will never ever be satisfied. It's like I remember a great quote from Jim Carrey. I wish everyone could become rich and famous just to realise that it's not the answer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because you live it in your head, like. It doesn't matter if you've got, as we said it before, it's a gilded cage, like. But anyway, yeah, so that kind of sparked today that it's kind of like, it's great to have these people giving the service, and that's why I don't want to dwell all the time on this kind of stuff, and I want to just show our life and what we do and all that kind of stuff as well, because when you dwell too much on it, you become a host for fear. And so in the battle of good versus evil, or fear versus faith, you are a soldier for fear in that moment. And when you spread it to somebody else, you make another soldier of fear.
Yeah, that's the...
And so the tide turns in the favour of fear. And that's what fear wants. That's what ego wants. That's what the darkness wants. That's what the people who are asleep and are run by darkness want. It's for more and more soldiers for fear and spreading fear and more of that. So less of that and more of the kind of like, I have a responsibility to contain this fear within me, and I can speak very tentatively and in a nice way without freaking out and without trying to evoke a physical response, an emotional response from this other person and stop freaking them out. So that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to freak anyone out.
We're trying to do the opposite. We're going to be like,
we're trying to
calm down.
We've learned all these coping mechanisms, and it served me well today because it was intense. It was
good to show that even though it's been a couple of decades we've been on this journey, really. Even then, and that's not to give anyone going, oh Jesus, but even then, we still will fall because we're living in a storm. Storms happen.
Yeah.
You're going to stub your toe and you're going to go.
But I've also realised that like that's what life wants to experience through us. It wants to fall asleep sometimes. It wants to play hide and seek with itself. It wants to actually fall asleep just to wake up and go, okay, it's okay again. So you're in a nightmare and then you wake up from the nightmare, because you want to have the experience of a nightmare, because from our experiences, this is not all there is. Put it back?
Put it back a little, I think, because you're going to lose some
too late.
people. I know.
It's out of the bag.
No, just, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
we're not editing anything, guys. I'm sorry if
Well, no,
I get passionate in the moment.
Of course not. But it's that kind of thing of
We
some
refuse.
people will understand and some people
It doesn't
won't.
matter. Then ask questions.
Yeah.
Become curious. And
But yes, we
and-
do subscribe to what we just from our own experiences, that this isn't, everything is not what it seems to be. I suppose there's
this is
something
what the core of all the religions of the world are speaking about.
different. Fingers pointing at the moon.
Yeah. And then
As they say.
instead of worshipping the finger,
Let's
look at-
instead of looking at the moon, what they're doing, people maybe spend too much time worshipping the fingers.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we should, the core of every religion is the same, and it's all just, just even
We've a hell of a lot more in common than we have
yes,
not in common.
Yes.
So we need to start actually kind of emphasizing, and it sounds like I'm preaching again, I know that, but it's like,
No.
it's that true. We get distracted. We make, I read this lovely book on communication, and it's like we tend to just pick the small difference and get a microscope and balloon that up. And it's like there's so much more that we have in common, and we all want the same goal of wanting to be loved and to love. And to be
feel
at
safe.
peace and to feel safe. Yeah, I think feeling safe is probably the biggest one.
Like, why don't we feel safe, guys?
we should feel safe.
We're not living in the savannas anymore with the old saber-tooths going.
Yeah, I remember.
You
Yeah, I remember reading that beautiful 2001: Space Odyssey. The book, though, it's very small. It's a novella, really. It's tiny, and it was that feeling. You get into the head of the headspace. I think it was Moonwatcher or whatever was his name. I can't remember the exact name, but it doesn't matter.
It's a lovely book.
And it was just a common thing that you huddled up in the cave every night, and that you would look down the mountain, and there was the tiger or the mountain lion climbing up, and all you could see is his eyes glistening in the moon. And it's just who will he take tonight? That's just the way it is. We're his food, and he might take me tonight. I don't know, or maybe take my baby that I love, and I'm trying to look after and guard. I can't protect myself because he's the big boss, and he'll take it whatever he wants. If he wants a small snack, he'll take him. If he wants one of the old people, he'll take one of them, and so on. And until, this is what I'm getting to, I suppose, until they actually realize, and there's this moment in the book where they realize that if we gang up together and we use a long stick, kind of like a pointy stick that keeps these massive vicious claws at a safe distance, and yes, one or two of us might go down, but we will eliminate the threat for all the rest.
You feel it.
It's so beautiful. It's so precious, guys. It's just, we've forgotten, we've lost our way, and we're so strong together. We can all make it great together for all of us. And just having that realization that there's more, we're so much stronger together, and then stop fighting, stop this infighting, stop looking this way and that way, and that person's different this way, and that person's different this way, and that one said something that I don't. That's what I'm talking about, these techniques to control the virus at the individual level, and individually, just like world peace. If we're all at peace and we live in the world, it's world peace. You can't impose a system of peace. In the same way, you can't impose peace from without. It has to be from within, and if we all find peace, or just a little bit more peace, the world will be more peaceful. And if there's a majority of us that feel peaceful, then automatically we'll spread that peace, because we're all connected. Doesn't matter what beliefs or systems you have at the end, atomic level or whatever, scientific level, religious level, whatever level, metaphysical level, it doesn't matter. We're all connected, and we feel energy from other people, and we'll spread eventually, but we have to start from the individual responsibility. No point in, like Jesus said, don't be looking at the speck in that man's eye when you have a log in your own. Stop criticizing that person.
We're making
They're
people out to
just
be
in
the
pain.
baddies as well. Like,
Yeah, the baddies. They're not baddies.
no one is a baddie.
They're just lost, and they're afraid, and
Just
they
like
have
you.
enough power to overcompensate for that fear, and that messes up the rest of us. And yes, they cause pain to the rest of us, but we can't. It's not about fighting them. It's about stopping us from being hosts for that fear, and then individually, once we've done that, can't put the cart before the horse. You can't impose a system of paradise before this happens. It has to be a growth in consciousness first.
Before we become a people of paradise.
Yes. And then automatically all the extraneous things that we don't need because we're overcompensating and because we need to self-medicate, because we need distraction, will just fall away because they'll be no longer needed. They'll be no longer necessary because we won't need them. It's like this comedian a few years ago said, if there's an ad for it, you don't need it. Because there'll be so much stuff that'll just fall away. And we just it won't be seen as...
It will just be enough to just come together. It will just be enough to just be together. United, you know? I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. It's really odd. It's really odd. I'm feeling...
It's good to get emotional sometimes.
That's all we want. We just... Us united, all together, facing the same direction. With our hearts and our minds open. Like, who doesn't want that?
Who doesn't want that?
Who doesn't want that?
But it happens at the...
Because then we'll all feel safe then, you know? But as you said, it has to happen at the individual.
We can't keep pointing outwards. We can't keep pointing the problem is this and the problem
That's
is
what
that.
we keep doing, you know, and that's why America is so divided.
And we can't do anything about that. But we can do something about individually. And the more peaceful everyone individually becomes, the more peace there will be. And as I said, everything falls away. And eventually we get to a point of actually literally everyone just being satisfied. And having this beautiful, amazing magic. Stuff that was considered science fiction or magic 200 years ago. The kind of technology we have. Or when you watch Star Trek as a kid and they have these pads. And it's like we have iPads now. We can communicate. We are using this camera to talk to people everywhere in the world. You had to go to a TV studio when I was young to be able to do that. You have to go to... It was just that technology wasn't available at the individual level. We have so much technology that can serve us. So we can have some more free time to party and be together and just, I don't know, just
like
enjoy each other's company.
I suppose, like, we've got it all, guys. We actually have it all.
Yeah.
We've got all the ingredients to the best
pieces
cake,
are all just
but we're just
scattered.
not sharing, you know? We're just not sharing, and we're kind of hoarding, and I'm talking
because
even
of the fear.
in a metaphorically, not even physically. And we're all just kind of hiding our light and covering ourselves over and just making everybody out to be different. You're different to me, you know? You're red, you're blue, you're left, you're right. This politics has just gone...
Your sexual orientation
so
is this
crazy.
and yours is that. And it's like, who cares?
Or your religion is this, or your colour of your hair, or your skin, or your eyes is this.
Or you're taking this and you shouldn't be doing that or you shouldn't. And it's like...
Or you're too old, or you're too young, or you're not this, you're not that. You're not educated enough. That's another thing. You're not educated. You haven't got this degree, or you haven't got this amount of money. You're not making this kind of job, or you don't live in this area. And oh goodness, you don't do this. Guys, we've lost the plot. Like, we've just lost it. You know, I don't want to seem too kind of crazy right now, but I just feel like we need to kind of slap ourselves in the face and go, like, what are we doing this for? Like, what is the point? What is this for? And I really hoped that during lockdown, when that brakes were put on the world, that people would kind of go and look inwards, because there was nothing, and a lot of people did, but a lot of people have gotten more upset and more angry and more scared
and more agitated,
more agitated because of fear and this virus that just takes over your mind.
And looking towards, like, we're supposed to have philosopher kings, you know, have leaders who we can trust and that are they can see the full picture, not just their own little bag of gold or whatever. And
the philosopher kings are so important to make a kind of Callipolis type. You need the philosopher kings because
it is getting very dark. So
it's getting dark.
Yeah, go on. No, please finish.
Because philosopher kings can look at things from more of an objective point of view and separate themselves off from everything and kind of see things from the mountaintop, which so many people who have had to self-reflect through trauma or whatever, and they've had to climb this mountain and they couldn't stay in the valley anymore. And maybe they were ostracized or not welcomed or a million things. And when you climb this mountain for a long time, you know, you get a different point of view. You look at things from a different way. You're not like a microscope, like right, you know, in your face. And
like in a human-centric economy, in a human-centric world, we wouldn't be this afraid.
Whatever you put in the center of your society will rule that society and all the people in it.
And everyone will have their price.
But if you put it as money, yeah, then everyone can be bought off. Or
because it means more security and more of a
How could
cushion
they
between
not?
you and your fear.
You know, we look at that's terrible, that judge was bought off.
It's like, if you had that much power and you were that scared, you would do the same thing.
What, you know, why wouldn't he be? Like, you know?
Okay, we've got to wrap it up because
Anyway,
we
it's
actually have no
getting
light.
dark.
I don't even know if this is coming out on the camera.
Well, maybe we should leave it on a happier note.
Yes, of course. No, we're not, but it's not.
No, but it's not negative.
It's not a negative.
It's a bit I think we've just kind of stopped it there, and people are going to go.
No, of course not. No, it's not a negative. It's just, let's go towards the positive. Let's go towards the light, because it's in all of us.
I think we
and we just need to wake that up.
I think it really is the destiny of our species to wake up to itself.
Of course it is, because we're only running with this buzz energy of learned concepts and fear. Once you remove that, then we're fearless beings, and we can achieve whatever we need to achieve, and that's not a pipe dream.
Think of all the times
Just
you have
remove
been fearless
the dirt.
because you've had no choice to be, maybe, and how you've just really, you know, something's happened there. You broke through something. So let's call fears bluff, guys.
Yeah.
And
one little fear at a time.
yes, one little fear. Maybe if we just start with the
Small
cub,
stuff.
the tiger cub. All right.
All right.